I recovered successfully from a drug-induced psychosis. Now, for any of you not knowing what a psychosis is, basically the definition of a psychosis is a break from reality, a struggle to define what is real and what is not real. A drug-induced psychosis can come in many different terms. My drug-induced psychosis tended to have more hallucinatory effects. I completely made that word up. Hallucinatory effects. Yeah, my drug-induced psychosis had a lot of hallucinations. Auditory and vocal. The same thing, auditory and vocal. Auditory and visual hallucinations. I also experienced extreme delusional paranoia and high social anxiety, intrusive thoughts, which was the hardest to deal with. And pretty much, if you want to know what I experienced with my drug-induced psychosis, if you look up everything that is under schizophrenia in the DSM-5, that's what I had. Therefore, I actually believe that I had a drug-induced schizophrenia, but whenever I mentioned this to my psychiatrist, I was like, hey doctor, I looked up on the DSM and it said there that I was schizophrenic. Does that now mean I've got a drug-induced schizophrenia? Because during my psychosis I turned into a yank. Yank! So yeah, my psychiatrist told me that I had to have all of these symptoms for a couple of years in order for me to be diagnosed with schizophrenia. So that's why I have the term drug-induced psychosis. Now, for many of you that have been diagnosed with a drug-induced psychosis, you may not have experienced hallucinations. Since I have gone researching drug-induced psychosis and spoken to many people that have experienced the drug-induced psychosis, I have found that a lot of them have not experienced hallucinations. Such as my friend Just Being Hayden, another YouTuber. What's up, bro? And also my TED Talker friend Jerome, whose TED Talk is here. Both of these people really helped me loads with accepting my psychosis and not feeling alone. Yeah. Thank God for those two people because they're so beautiful and they've helped me so much with my life. I love you boys. So, now that I have recovered, what can you do to recover? I could sit here for hours on end telling you about what worked for me and then advising you on what to do, but this is a YouTube video, I'm not going into that much detail. Basically, what I recommend you to do is to start with my How to Battle Psychosis playlist. So, my How to Battle Psychosis playlist, which is currently not finished yet. Hopefully, by the time you're watching this, it will be finished, so you'll have a full access to that. Basically, these are all the things that I adapted into my lifestyle, one at a time, taking very small baby steps to change my habits, to change my way of thinking, and to change my actions. And this is effectively what allowed me to recover from my psychosis. Now, recovering from psychosis is, without a doubt, the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's the hardest thing I've ever done, and it's the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. Without a doubt, it's the best thing to ever happen to me. You know, the likes of R.D. Laing, Carl Jung, Stan Grof, they all talk about how psychosis is basically like your way of releasing what is inside of you. You know, some people classify it as like a demon being inside of you. Yes, it can feel like you are possessed sometimes. Like, to summarize what it felt like inside of my head during my psychosis, it was like a battle between angels and demons. Like God and the devil battling inside of my head. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. And so you gotta look for the God, you gotta look for the spirit, and you gotta go deep into your soul and learn from the trauma in your past. Because all this that keeps coming up is trauma in your past. What happened with me with the voices was a lot of the things the voices said were traumatic things that people had said to me in the past. And the delusions I had were very self-absorbent, all about me. And it was kind of like I was looking for importance in my life. And that brings me to what I'm doing now since I have recovered. So what I'm doing now since I've recovered is I'm focusing on looking for my mission. I'm focusing on working on my mission. And it's been a fucking journey to try and find out what my mission is. But basically, to sum this up about male depression, I want you to listen to this clip from this podcast of Modern Wisdom with a psychotherapist. So give this a listen.
Most depressed men probably don't need medication. Even the ones who do need it more than just medication. Depressed men need purpose, a mission, and the power to accomplish that mission. Give a man those three things and he can crawl over broken glass with a smile.
Mm-hmm. So male depression, from my personal experience treating it, but also from everything I've read, from research that I've read, male depression is different from female depression in that male depression tends to focus on learned helplessness, powerlessness. Men need a mission in life, and they need to believe that they can go fulfill that mission. They need to be able to take steps. There's a reason that impotence is such a big deal for men, not just sexual impotence, but emotional impotence, life impotence. You need to be able to go out and do what you need to do. You have to have a purpose in life and be able to accomplish that purpose. And if you can do that, look at men in. I was just reading an old document from World War II. Actually, it was discussing the bombings in London and the psychological impact of that, of men who were hospitalized prior to the bombings, hospitalized for severe mental health problems, schizophrenia, major depression. Some of them were catatonic in mental hospitals prior to the bombings. There's documents showing that those men, some of them got up and started driving ambulances. They got out of their catatonic state and started driving ambulances through the street, helping with rebuilding, helping with keeping people safe. All of a sudden, these men came back to life because now they had a defensive war to fight, a clear win state and a clear losing state, and they could do it. They had something in front of them that they could accomplish. This is why men are crushingly depressed. We try to do anything we can to make us feel like we can accomplish something. So a man who is agonizingly worried about something in his life and feels like there's nothing he can do about it will all of a sudden obsess over the smallest little project in his life that makes no sense to anyone else. It could be a video game. It could be little painting miniature soldiers. It could be anything, but that's what he can control. And he has to have that sense of control for him to have life purpose.
So as you can hear there, it talks about the importance of having a mission, about having a purpose for men, because we need that inner purpose. And so what my mission is another point that I'd like to make on the importance of finding this purpose within your life is the quote from Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, which, ironically, I was reading this book whenever my voices first came in, so it has quite a deep meaning for me. To tell you a short story about this book, I had the ebook illegally downloaded on my phone, and I believed there was little gaps in between the sentences, and I believed that I was able to find this Hebrew inscription inside the gaps between the sentences that would give me the actual meaning of life. Yeah, quite a delusional state. But this book, I'm going to read you a few quotes from it now. So Viktor Frankl states, "A human being is not one in pursuit of happiness, but rather in search of a reason to become happy." Once again, that search, that looking for that deeper meaning within your life, looking for what the purpose is. Another quote then, "People have enough to live by, but nothing to live for. They have the means, but no meaning." Once again, reiterating the importance of finding meaning within your life. Someone asked me recently, what do you believe the meaning of life is? And my response was, I believe you have to give meaning to your own life. And so that choice is up to you. And there you hit the wall of the paradox of choice. What meaning do I give to my life? Do I become a musician? Do I become a banker? Do I become a wanker? And now for the third and final quote from Viktor Frankl. "As soon as they could fill their abundant free time with some sort of unpaid but meaningful activity, their depression disappeared. Man does not live by welfare alone." And in this example, Viktor Frankl is specifically talking about people that went into volunteering. So I believe that this case was talking about people who had survived being in a concentration camp, and then they were struggling with life after it, struggling with the PTSD of experiencing the traumatic oppression that they faced. Now, Viktor Frankl, I would like to add, was also in the concentration camp himself, and what gave him meaning? He was a psychiatrist, and he had written a book before going into the concentration camp, and he'd lost all the papers. So every day he reminded himself of those papers. and he came back out, wrote the book, and had such an incredible insight. If you're struggling for meaning within your life, I fully recommend you do read this book. It's fucking amazing. My mission is to give back to the people and the nature of Ireland, and the people and nature of Ireland includes me, myself. So specifically, my first mission was to recover from my psychosis, and yes, I'm so fucking grateful. I am fucking blessed to be able to have recovered from my psychosis and to have been able to been given all of the tools that I have learned from in order to grow and develop into the person that I am today. So yeah, that is my mission. Now, how can you find your mission? How you can find your mission in life is looking at what you currently don't like that is in your life. You may not like your family situation, you may not like your friendship situation, you may not like how your country is ran, you may not like the job that you have, you may not like that you're not doing enough creativity within your life. The list is endless. You have to find out what you don't like in your life or what you want to change in your life. And by focusing on that, you'll be able to find your mission. Now, once you have found your mission, basically what you want to do is you want to have this really fucking high goal. And in order to achieve this high goal, what you got to do is you got to go down, put it into the smallest steps imaginable, and work your way down from there. Going right down to the present moment and then take that first step. See, once you take those first couple of steps, you will notice how things will start to work your way. Once you research for the first time that thing you were really interested in and want to learn about, say, if you're from Belfast and you really wanted to learn about permaculture farming, you type in permaculture farm Belfast and then you go for it, right? It's that easy. Just take the first step and keep on going and going and going. And yes, you're going to hit so many barricades, but don't look at it as a barricade, look at it as a change in direction, a curvature in the path that you're about to take in order to find and accomplish your mission in life. If you're listening to this right now and you still have psychosis, then maybe your mission right now is to recover from your psychosis. That was initially my mission, and I have changed and adapted in order to look at a bigger picture now that I have fucking achieved my goal of recovering from my psychosis. So yes, you are taking the first step by watching this video. Continue to watch more videos. I suggest you watch the ones related to psychosis because I've got a lot of shit that's not related to psychosis in this channel. And yeah, if you have any questions, then comment, please, to help the algorithm, and you can message me privately at any time. I would love to assist you on your journey of recovery. So yeah, please like the video, subscribe, and of course comment. Just comment a smiley face if you got nothing else to say, just to help the algorithm. If you do, I love you. If you don't, I still love you. God bless leprechauns. See you soon.